Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. I got lots of stories to share, lots of news to report as we deliver radio superbity as we do every day. And you know what, folks? Just living life is an adventure, isn't it? My stepson, Cole, who goes to the University of Louisville, his car got nailed with like golf ball size hail down in Louisville Saturday, and you're talking about like 2,000 little dents. And you know what I'm doing? I'm showing loyalty. I said we got to call Don Metalka at Reincarnation Auto Body, and I'm sure he'll take care of it. Also, we took Riley to the Cincinnati Art Museum, my little granddaughter, and right outside the Cincinnati Art Museum was a big statue of Pinocchio, which I had my picture taken, which I'm sure there's going to be plenty of lawyer jokes on Facebook when that picture gets posted. Do you know what I mean, TC? And also, I enjoyed the art. There was a gentleman by the name of Cave, which was kind of like modern art. Monet, there was a Monet display there, which I enjoyed. But I like the old traditional art, to be candid with you. We're going to cover the NFL draft, bring you up to date on that in sports. We have NBA playoffs. We got hockey playoffs. We have the CNN Correspondents' Dinner, which I watched, so you didn't have to. I watched the entire thing. I can give you a full report. Also, I went to Joseph Beth and bought some books, and I'm telling you right now, this little book, which was an impulse buy because it was up at the counter, I purchased Washington's Ron Chernow biography on tape and some magazines. But this book is called F and Exams, the very best totally wrong test answers. And I am not kidding you. We could do an entire show on this. I mean, it is hilarious. I mean, some of the things, this is basically people saying, give an example of a step-up transformer. Answer, an exercise machine. These people, they just didn't want to. Let me see.
Those guys are working for Sony now.
I mean, it's just crazy, some of this stuff. Use the word doldrums in a sentence. I cannot play the doldrums. All this stuff is just hilarious. Have you ever seen this book, TC?
No, I've not.
This one is expand 2x plus y. And what they did is they just wrote it 4 times, expanding it, making it bigger each time they wrote it. That's funny.
That's good stuff.
A car company is having a sale. A car that was $50,000 before the sale is now 30% off. What is the new price? Still too expensive.
Good answer.
That's a great answer.
That is the answer.
And when you look at what's going on in the world, the best place to always start, isn't it? Is just simply pop culture. Because in pop culture, kind of reflects how messed up the world is. Get this. Today is National Honesty Day.
Are we into pop culture now, or are we just...
We are in pop culture.
Okay, well, let's get the pop culture band.
M. Hirsch Goldberg, former press secretary to Governor of Maryland, author of 5 books, created National Honesty Day in the early 1990s after spending 4 years researching and writing The Book of Lies. The Avengers opened...
So wait a minute. So politicians are off today, you're saying?
Yes, that's correct. Congress is closed.
Okay. They can't work and participate in Honesty Day at the same time.
The Avengers opened overseas, brought in $178 million.
Whoa.
Opens Friday. I saw a movie with the wife this weekend. 5-Year Engagement is an outstanding romantic comedy, and it is different than most romantic comedies. They finally decided to make a romantic comedy that was different, and I'm telling you, great movie. So, guys, if you want to make your wives or spouses or girlfriends happy, take them to see 5-Year Engagement. You'll enjoy it, too. Apparently at the CNN, well, CNN just had, it wasn't the CNN, it was the Washington Correspondents' Dinner.
It was awfully chilly in Washington. I think I lost my voice.
Apparently Rick Santorum got busted kind of going gaga over Lindsay Lohan.
I'm not mad at him.
Got his picture taken, then he took his picture again. I mean, isn't that funny? Rick, what's going on, buddy?
Here's what he whispered in her ear. Look, there's no way they're going to elect me ever. Come on, let's go. I'm sorry.
And the New York Times protested that dinner, and the reason why is because it's gotten to, how should we say, non-correspondent-y. Kim Kardashian. Are you kidding me? And then she gets mentioned by everybody speaking. And she wants to branch out from her reality TV to become a sitcom star. She wants her own comedy sitcom.
Okay.
Yeah, right. That'll be a bust.
Who is she again?
The dog-eating jokes took front and center.
Oh.
I mean, those were all over. We'll get to that in a minute. Keith Olbermann is mad at Jimmy Kimmel for ripping on him. Rob Lowe found out that he was a descendant, according to Daily Mail, he was a descendant of a European soldier who fought against American independence. How do you like that? Traitor, I agree. And local news. Get this. A new Census Bureau reports that despite a recession that put economic pressure on some people to share housing with strangers and relatives, the percentage of Cincinnati households made up people living alone remained at 43%. We're the third in the nation for people living alone. Amster, do you live alone?
I do not live alone. No.
TC, do you live alone?
Yes, I do.
I do not.
I do.
I don't live alone. Living alone would be...
I partially live alone. You know, the kids are over when they come over, but...
Are you lonely when you're alone?
Not at all. Are you kidding me?
Do you like living alone?
I enjoy it. I mean, I'm not home a lot for it to make a big difference, but there's a lot of stuff for me to do when I'm at home.
What do you do when you're home alone?
Do you really want to know what I do when I'm home alone?
Yes, I mean, do you sleep? Do you watch television? Do you eat? What's your main thing at home? All the above?
I will go in the basement. I will put on CDs. I'll crank the CDs. And here's the thing that
So
I
you
love.
like to listen to music?
I love music, but the thing that I love the most, I mean, that touches my heart like I'm talking to God. Are you serious? Playing the guitar.
So you play the guitar?
Yeah. I love playing the guitar.
Well, why don't you play the guitar on the radio one day?
I'm a legend in my basement. I don't
Show
know
off
if the
that
world's
talent
ready for me.
You know, everybody's talking about private education versus public education. Well, the Catholic schools report a $15 million deficit. Get ready, Catholics. They're going to be asking you for some money in the Archdiocese of Cincinnati. However, you watch. At least that's their problem and not the public's problem. If you know what I mean.
That's true. That's true.
Thomas Massey from Lewis County. Let me see. Well, I got this wrong. If elected, members of Congress can't opt out of the program, and since 1986, he's going to turn down his congressional pension.
Really?
That's what this story's about. He's going to turn down his congressional pension. By the way, today at 5:30, and I'm going to get you the location of the place, Senator Rand Paul and Thomas Massey are speaking out in Boone County, somewhere in Burlington. I got to get the location for you.
Yeah.
Rand Paul, your Kentucky senator, will be out there. Let me see what else in local news. Kentucky's primaries May 22nd. Man, we're going to have to elect a congressman. 28 state House seats and 8 Senate seats are up for election.
It's about 3 weeks away.
That's right. But let's get straight to sports, because sports are hot today. The Cincinnati Reds come back on a Votto and Jay Bruce homer to beat the Astros 6-5. You got to love that. That's good news.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
The Lakers beat the Nuggets 103-88. The Clippers stun the Grizzlies. They come down from 27 to win 99-98. How do you like that? That's a heck of a comeback, isn't it? That's an incredible comeback.
Yeah.
And we're not going to cover the draft as part of sports. We're going to cover it all of its own. Did you watch any of the draft, TC?
No, I did not. Well,
I just want you to know that the draft was exciting to watch. I watched the whole darn thing while I worked. The Bengals may have had the best draft in the NFL draft.
Oh, really?
And my Cowboys, of course, they did get a great cornerback. But, I tell you, the Reds have won 3 out of their they've won 3 straight series. If you win every series, that's what they did when they won their division and made the playoffs 2 years ago. If you win every series, that's consistency. You don't have to win every game, but you got to win every series. Is that too much to ask to win every series? I don't think that's too much to ask.
Not if you're the champs.
And Matt Lato struggled a little bit, but they still won. How about Johnny Cueto on Saturday? Shutout, 7 inning shutout baseball. His ERA was like a 178, and it's going to drop even further. It's incredible. When we come back, we're going to cover the CNN Correspondents' Dinner. Entertaining on Real Talk 1160.
Remember, coming up at the bottom of the hour at 7:28, it's Bill O'Reilly's Talking Points here on Real Talk 1160. And now, back to the Bulldog.
Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. The location of the Rand Paul, Thomas Massey. Thomas Massey's going to be there to speak, as well as Rand Paul. It's 5:30 p.m. at the Boone County Extension Office today at 6028 Camp Ernst Road. 5:30 p.m. Boone County Extension Office, 6028 Camp Ernst Road. Somebody asked me to announce that, and I am doing that.
I wonder why at the Extension Office. Is that normal?
Yeah,
Is
it's kind of a place to gather. They're gonna speak about property rights.
Ah, okay. That's
Remember those rights that you used to have in America?
years ago, before that stadium deal?
Yeah, property rights. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, the White House Correspondents' Dinner has been going on forever and ever. And it's a chance for basically the President of the United States to get roasted and the President of the United States get to act like a stand-up comedian. And it is now evolved into a real big event. It's televised. I mean, CNN televised it. By the way, the commentary during and after it was terrible. God awful. I mean, this one guy was ready to like throw down against a female commentator because she didn't want to like admit that Barack Obama was the highlight of the event. And this anchor was like, it's Obama, it's Obama, it's Obama. He's like, my God, chill out, dude. But, this is just some observations from it. And I watched it. And everybody wants to focus on the jokes that Jimmy Kimmel told or the president told. The president spoke for less than 10 minutes. I think Kimmel spoke for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. But this cracks me up. Here you are in a room, the President of the United States, Jimmy Kimmel, who's got a national television show. All these important people. I mean, I saw Clooney there sitting at the table with Steven Spielberg. You have all the politicians that were there. Newt Gingrich was there. Boy, he wishes he wasn't there. He got stung by Kimmel. But this is what amazes me. The president reads his jokes. All right? Jimmy Kimmel reads his jokes. Now, everybody knows that somebody prepared the president's material for him. And everybody knows that Kimmel probably had some people help prepare his material. And I'm sitting there, and then people talk about, oh, he was really good, he's really good. I'm thinking to myself, he read his material. Jimmy Kimmel can't go to the podium, stand and deliver without reading his material, TC?
Put me in a room with all those people, I got a lot of funny things I can say off the top of my head.
Exactly. I mean, why do I would not need so when people get say, well, he was really good, I think, yeah, he read his jokes that were pre-prepared. I mean, I'm telling you, and this is supposed to be like the creme de la creme, the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Yeah. Everybody, and you can't do it without reading it all. And everybody's like, oh, he was really good. Well, who couldn't do that? I mean, I'm just telling you, it was. Now, some of the pre-prepared jokes were funny, like the one about Ron Paul.
Which I missed that.
Kimmel said every time he looks like the guy in Scooby-Doo that when they pull the hood off, he's the bad guy. He looks like that guy.
Ouch.
That's ouch, but it's kind of funny. It is true. Barack Obama ended with a funny joke that he had to get home because of the Secret Service's new curfew.
Oh.
Now, here is a joke that I think, all right, here it is.
Wait, the president said this?
The president.
Okay.
The president said the difference between a hockey mom
I heard that.
and a pit bull is a pit bull is delicious.
And I thought that was great.
AKA, you're talking about eating a hockey mom. versus eating a pit bull. And I'm just telling you, TC.
The reference was to eating dog. Come on. I thought that was great.
How could you say that a pit bull is delicious if you didn't know what a hockey mom tasted like?
Well, that's a good question.
Darn right. That's why I'm a cross-examining lawyer.
So what you're saying is that you're inferring that the president might be a cannibal, or at least tried.
No. I'm not talking about being a cannibal. Let me see. Kimmel, he made fun of the president's ears. He made the comment about the president as it related to you want everybody to get excited about your campaign. That was funny. That was hilarious. But he was good. But I mean, it's just overrated. That's all I'm saying. It's overrated.
They made it a big gala.
And it cracks me up how this goes on all the time. I've decided that, to become famous on the national stage, you just got to have somebody that wants you to be famous on the national stage to give you an opportunity.
Yeah, you're right. Someone's got to give you a break.
I mean, nobody's going to tell me, TC, that you're. I mean, I watched Imus in the Morning on television before, and they have all these producers that are in his room.
Yeah.
You're every bit as funny as his entourage.
Well, thank you.
But you're not on a national stage in New York.
That's because Imus doesn't know us yet.
Well, all I'm saying is I thought it was kind of crazy. How about they made dog eating jokes?
I really thought that was fun.
Last week we learned that the president's two favorite steaks are ribeye and seeing eye. That was Kimmel.
Whoever's writing his stuff is good.
Yeah, it was good. It kind of went too long.
Yeah.
It went a little bit too long.
I want to hear what the actual press corps had to say. I mean,
New York Times boycotted it.
Yeah, what was that all about? I heard they mentioned that on America's Morning News.
They just said that it's gotten too entertaining. Instead of being about the White House and the correspondents, everybody. I mean, Lindsay Lohan and Kim Kardashian at this event.
They don't need to be there.
Are you kidding me?
Well, now Lindsay Lohan, eye candy, sure, but celebrities do not need to be there. It should be the press corps, and then you have some, big name entertainment, and you have a nice meal and. But you see, that's where it's symbolic of where our country is going. I mean, people don't realize the reason why we do pop culture isn't just to report about pop culture and have some fun, but to basically it's a satire that pop culture dominates our country now. Right.
And that's not a good thing. I mean, everything. Kim Kardashian gets mentioned by everybody speaking at the White House CNN. I mean,
and you know what?
Even the president meets her.
Yeah, and I don't understand.
I mean, mentions her.
Think about all the struggling actors who studied classically, went to Juilliard, this, that, and the other. They're waiting tables somewhere, waiting for that big break. And Kim Kardashian and the hair guy Trump get a TV show.
Yeah, but here's what's funny about it: the people that watch it.
Yeah,
Who in the heck watches the Kardashian? Millions of people watch them. It is a boring show. I watched it one time.
Just once.
It's got nothing.
Yeah. The only thing I got is is that Bruce Jenner?
Hey, here's a great quote. Apparently, I'm supposed to be more angry about what Mitt Romney does with his money than what Barack Obama does with mine.
Ooh, nice. Nice tag.
When we come back, folks, I'm going to give you a report about Barack Obama's historic fundraising. It ought to make you raging mad. The Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. We raise a little bit of hell every morning on 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Real Talk 1160. TC and I get along, even though we're Leos. But there's always some differences, like I'm Fox News, he's CNN.
Headline news, baby.
Robin Meade.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something else, too. Want to tell the story. I'm calling you out, TC.
Uh-oh.
TC and I were supposed to meet on Saturday at 10 a.m. to discuss the long-term planning of the Bulldog and TC show as we take over America. And he canceled. TC, I want to know what you had that was more important than the national careers that we want to launch that you had to cancel 10 o'clock breakfast at Frisch's on Saturday?
Well, let's say, okay, in addition to the $1 million contract I have here, I have other gigs outside of here. And there was a conflict. And that other gig pays just a little more than the $1 million gig I've got here. So,
all right, I forgive you.
Plus, I'd already scheduled for the helicopter to come pick me up and everything. So,
Well, you can't cancel the helicopter.
I know. And then
I understand if you had the helicopter coming.
And then I was jet lagged flying to back and forth from here to D.C. and
Jeez,
chilly in Washington.
I gotta ask a question. Did Real Talk 1160? Who used our table? Why? You know what it is? I'll tell you what it is. Schloy plays favorites. You know whose favorites are?
Who's that?
Patty the sales girl, Shanna the secretary, Jeff Picaro. They go to lunch all the time. We get left out.
That's right. Well, we're usually gone before they get here.
I'll bet you all of them were at the White House Correspondents' Dinner at the Real Talk 1160 table, and we were left out.
You're right. Why weren't we invited?
I tell you, I'm getting tired of being the footstool of this radio station.
Yeah.
Wall Street Journal reports. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we call a bit. I'm not going to make this oh, wait, we got Prankster on the phone.
Ba-da-da.
Prankster, you're on Real Talk 1160. Say something witty or wise about the press dinner.
Well, it includes your march on Washington.
God, that would have been a great time. We could have conquered them. We could have surrounded that building and taken over. Go ahead.
I have your solution. You remember King Cyrus?
Yes, King Cyrus.
Yeah, with the elephants, right?
Yes.
You can be King Bulldog and get a million bulldogs and march on Washington.
You know what? I like that idea.
Maybe throw a few pit bulls in, a couple schnauzers, a couple German shepherds, and just march on there and bite the heck out of them all.
The Bulldog March. You know what, Prankster? This is the God's honest truth. I'm all about the three pillars, God, Constitution, and
don't eat
capitalism.
Your dog.
But let me tell you, Prankster, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't make any bones about it. I'd like to be king of America.
Well, I'll vote you in.
All right, thank you, Prankster. I appreciate that.
Now, that
Prankster always has good. I'm serious. I would like to be king.
I know you would. But, we can make some money with the Bulldog March. Now, let me tell you why. We'll get Ace Hardware to sponsor the whole thing, right? Here, you can hear the two fat guys. Stop into your local Ace Hardware for your pooper scooper before you head to the Bulldog March.
I like that.
We could sell 1 million pooper scoopers.
I agree. The Bulldog March.
Put the Bulldog logo on them. Nah, that wouldn't be good because people might think we're full of...
Well, you know what? We were going to put the Real Talk 1160 logo on them until we did not get invited to go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner with the Real Talk 1160 table. I can see it now. Yinger and his wife. Gaither was there and his wife. Schloy, Patty, Shanna, and Picaro. That's the table of 8. Or was it tables of 10? There was table of 10. I'm sure Rob got to go.
Yeah. Or somebody else, anybody but us.
Anybody else.
If we put the Real Talk 1160 logo on our pooper scoopers, we can say that you guys are full of it.
Yeah, we clean up. This is an incredible story. Some guy has written a book. Some guy has written a book that is coming out. Barack Obama has attended, TC, more fundraisers. This is incredible. As president, than the 7 former presidents combined.
Really?
Now, you've heard me advocate here on the radio show that if you did a great job as president, you would not have to attend any fundraisers. You would not have to do any of the campaigning because with the national media, the news, and everything else, Americans, the economy's going good, you're doing a great job, you wouldn't have to campaign. And proof and point, this is incredible. Ronald Reagan in 1984's campaign didn't go to a fundraiser.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Not one?
Not one. Now, George Bush went to a lot, but Barack Obama has attended more fundraisers. All the presidents since Richard Nixon combined, according to the figures published in a new book. He's also the only president in the past 35 years to visit every electoral battleground state in his first year of office.
He's a strategic president. But now Reagan, let's look at Reagan, though. How many times do you think maybe Reagan might have been invited or there was some event going on, but No, Reagan's not right today. He didn't take his medication. We better keep him home tonight.
How dare you?
Now, come on now. We know there were some times.
How dare you?
We know there were some times when.
How dare you?
He was hiding his own Easter eggs.
Like I said, folks, Fox News, CNN on the other side of the glass.
He was hiding his own Easter eggs.
He was not.
Yeah, come on. And he did know where they were.
Why do you hate old people?
No, I don't.
CTC hates old people.
I'll say this positive. I do.
I'm throwing him off his game.
In
he doesn't know what
50
to
years,
say.
I will despise myself. Ronald Reagan had a great. Now, of course, he ran against Jimmy Carter during the worst economy that we've had in a while. I mean, worse than what we've got now with interest rates being high and everything like that. In '84, he had one thing to say: "Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago?" And that was all he needed to say. He didn't. You're right. He did not have to do anything else. However, look what he was, up against Jimmy Carter.
Right.
So, but that's why I think, and that was the best thing. Everybody was better than it was 4 years ago.
Well, I just find it very interesting. I mean that, and here is why you might say. Remember, he was averaging 3 a day. The guy since this year, January, has averaged. This is a couple weeks ago when I last checked. He was averaging 3 fundraisers a day. George Clooney is planning one at his L.A. House that they claim is going to raise $10 million in one setting.
No way.
I mean, but what I just don't understand, folks, is that our country is in one of the most desperate times and most difficult times in its history, and rather spend time on governing and solving the problems. You've got a sitting president that all he cares about is going to fundraisers and raising money for a re-election effort. Now, get this. This is from James Carville. After Mitt tried to steal my line, I have to call him out. In Romney's speech bashing President Obama last night, he said it's still about the economy and we're not stupid. Yeah, it is still about the economy, stupid. It's about how hucksters like Mitt crashed it. The middle class paid the price, and the top 1% got more tax cuts. Contribute $3 to the Republican Accountability Fund. And I got an email yesterday over the weekend, again asking me that the suggested donation for me for the Democratic Triple C is $3, which I'm rejecting. I mean, these guys are going around asking people to contribute $3, and people are saying no.
That is proof that it's the economy stupid.
If you can't afford to pay $3, that's pretty rough. $3? but I will guarantee you that most Americans don't even realize that Barack Obama is spending all of his time out raising money and going to fundraisers. They don't have a clue.
And you're right. I mean, he's spending a lot more time than he should. I mean, he doesn't have that, what did Bill Clinton say, let me get back to do the work for the American people kind of attitude.
Oh, yeah. It's insane. I mean, here's a funny story. We should have this isn't legal, but we should have put it in pop culture. Police said Sunday that 26-year-old Nicole Howdy, Miss New Hampshire 2010, was arrested Wednesday after the Manchester beauty queen punched, kicked, scratched, and bit 33-year-old Scott Nickerson. Ooh. Police say the two were arguing, and Nickerson took Howdy's cell phone, prompting. Well, maybe Scott Nickerson deserved to be punched, kicked, scratched, and bit.
Yeah, what did he do to her?
And maybe not.
To create that rage.
A beauty queen doing this kind of, what the heck's going on here?
A little anger going on. Huh?
Lots of anger going on. I mean, geez, oh, Pete. It's not becoming of a beauty queen to kick, scratch, punch.
Right.
And here's a great story. One of Australia's richest men, Clive Palmer, has unveiled plans for a 21st century version of the Titanic to be built in China. It's going to be leaden. It's going to be lots of lead in it. Its first voyage from England to New York set for 2016. He has commissioned state-owned Chinese company CSC Yingling Shipyard to contract Titanic 2. Why would you name a ship Titanic? Now, I got to ask you a question, CC. Who's going to ride the Titanic 2?
Not me.
I would never get on a ship called Titanic 2. How many lifeboats are on this ship?
Really? Biggest disaster? I mean, and they make movies about it. That's like making a movie about the Bengals.
That's messed up. Sadomasochists will line up. The Bulldog on Real Talk 1160.
And remember, if you have to be at work at 8 o'clock, you can still catch the second hour of Bulldog Nation. You can just hop on your computer and go to realtalk1160.com. Click on Listen Live, and you can hear all the good stuff coming up after 8 o'clock. And now, back to the Bulldog.
Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. This day in history, George Washington was inaugurated as president.
Ah.
The Louisiana Purchase was completed in 1803 for $15 million, baby. That's all it took. Hitler committed suicide today. Wow.
Or did he?
Is he still alive? First federal prison for women opened. Well, why is that news? 1920. Really? Sorry, ladies. The Boulder Dam was renamed to Hoover Dam in 1947. And today, the top piece of steel will be placed on the Freedom Tower in New York City to once again make the World Trade Center the tallest building in New York, which will top out at 1,776 feet. No coincidence. After the 408-foot tall needle. Now, you know what thing that cracks me up about this? If you want a tall building, you put a needle on it. Let's see, it's the tallest building because that needle's up there.
Right.
Only 408 feet. Over a football field needle, we're the tallest building. Somebody else in the Chicago Sears Tower ought to put up a needle that's 1,000 feet tall. Now, we're the tallest building now. See our needle. We measure it by the needle.
Would we be taller with afros?
Yes. Apparently, the new center from UK, he's 6'10", but with his afro, he's like 9'3". Birthdays today, TC, and I know you're chomping at the bit about one of these.
Oh, yeah.
Cloris Leachman's 86. Isaiah Thomas is 51.
And looking for a job.
Kirsten Dunst from Spider-Man fame is 30. Kind of had a crush on her a time or two.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wholesome. And Willie Nelson is 79.
That's right.
Proof that smoking a little weed will prolong your life.
They unveiled a statue of him last week.
Really?
On 420. That's a symbolic cannabis.
On 420.
Yeah. Unveiled a statue of him in Austin, Texas, a big statue, and I thought he'd be stoned.
Was he stoned?
No, he was bronzed.
Ah!
Good night, folks.
That is good, TC.
Waited all morning.
Do you have a feel-good song in support of Willie?
Well, you know what? We were talking about that, and I thought we wanted to go with your feel-good song.
Here's the feel-good song of the day, and TC takes exception with this. This is Stuck in the Middle with You by Steelers Wheel.
Now, this is a great song, okay?
This is a great song.
Listen to this song closely, and then we're going to play another song, which I think is a copycat. But
yes, TC's going to point out a copycat. This is a song that'll stick in your head all day, folks.
Oh, yeah.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Feel good. We don't want you to feel bad. Don't know why.
Look at that guy. Is that Jerry Rafferty?
I have no idea who it is.
It's Jerry Rafferty.
All I know is I got clowns to the left of me and jokers to the right.
Look at the band. They look like occupiers.
They do look like occupiers. I've never seen a video of this song.
Me either. Look at him.
He's happy. I thought that was a metaphor, but the video, it's very specific.
Yeah.
He's got clowns.
Yeah. A guy with clowns is a guy with issues.
Now, TC?
Yes.
You maintain there is a song that you think pirated this song.
And I love that song, okay? But every time I hear that song, I think about this song. And everyone's going to say, no, she didn't copy it. Yes, she did.
Let's see if the music is the same. This is Sheryl Crow. All I Want to Do.
Now, this part doesn't sound like it. You're saying, wait a minute. I don't hear the similarity. Not yet, you don't. You ready? Listen.
Have you ever wondered how many songs have been done? How do they not copy each other accidentally?
Sometimes they do.
Like country music songs. All sound alike.
Now, listen. Doesn't that sound like the same song?
No.
You don't think so? You're not hearing that? Brad, help me out. No?
I don't hear it either.
Oh, come on, guys. No?
In the middle with you. Maybe if you sing, we'll hear it.
Does the refrain sound like it? Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right.
Listen, that's not it? You don't hear that?
No.
Oh, man. All right.
TC plays guitar in his basement.
That's right. All right, we're done with Cheryl then.
All right, here's the joke of the day. A man was walking in the city when he was accosted by a particularly dirty and shabby-looking bum who asked him for a couple dollars for dinner. The man took out his wallet, extracted $2, and asked, "If I gave you this money, will you take it and buy whiskey?" No. I stopped drinking years ago," the bum said. "Will you use it to gamble?" "I don't gamble," said the bum. I need everything I can get just to stay alive." "Will you spend the money on green fees at a golf course?" The bum said, "Are you nuts? I haven't played golf in 20 years. The man said, "Well, I'm not going to give you the $2. Bum was, What do you mean? You just asked me all those questions. He said, "I'm going to take you home to my wife for a terrific dinner cooked by my wife." The bum was astounded. Well, won't your wife be furious with you for doing that? I mean, I'm kind of dirty and I smell pretty bad. The man replied, "That's okay. I just want my wife to see what a man looks like who's given up drinking, gambling, and golf."
That's a keeper.
That's a keeper.
That's much better than what we were doing Friday.
Yeah, when we were trying with our backup jokes, we're flailing away.
Backup jokes.
Shakespeare for your day. Expectation is the root of all heartache. And you know what? That is true.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't have any expectations, like for a better job, a better salary, a better woman, a better life, you're happy.
You're right. That's it.
It's contentment. If you're content where you are in life and you have no expectations for better, you'll never be disappointed.
That's true. That's true. Expectations.
How come I keep striving for more, TC?
It's just who you are. You're a Leo.
I keep striving and striving and striving. Did you pay attention to the Bengals draft?
They got what, three new guys?
Yeah, they got Kirkpatrick, a cornerback from Alabama. They got a big offensive lineman from Iowa. Let me see, who else did they get? They got some great, they had a great draft. In the second round, they got a Devon Still, who was from Penn State. He was the Defensive Player of the Year in the Big Ten.
Nice.
A defensive tackle. They got a Mohamed Sanu of Rutgers. He was a first-team Big East wide receiver, so he's no slouch.
Yeah.
And then they got Brandon Thompson from Clemson as a defensive tackle. They got Orson Charles from Georgia as a tight end. Marvin Jones likes drafting Georgia picks. They got Sean Prater of Iowa as a cornerback. Marvin Jones of California as a wide receiver. George Ioka of Boise State as a safety. I noticed there was a lot of Boise State people being drafted. That's kind of different. And then they needed a running back available at 191. They picked up Daniel Herron of Ohio State.
Nice.
Who was not a slouch as a running back. So the Bengals had a great draft, TC.
I'm curious to know how fast that cornerback is.
I think he runs he's the first cornerback to ever run under the 40 and a 4. I'm just joking.
Oh, man, I was just like, are you serious?
Do you know Deion Sanders ran the 40, I think, in under 4 or under 3. Deion has had like one of the fastest ever.
Wow.
They say this Griffin, the quarterback from Baylor who's going to Washington, they say he's going to be the fastest quarterback to ever play the game.
Yeah.
On that level. He's going to have to run from a lot of people chasing him.
He's going to get hurt.
He's going to hurt.
He's going to get hurt. If he runs that much, welcome to the NFL.
Yeah, the NFL's a little different than college.
Yeah.
When we come back, we have big news to announce about Newt. Saturday Night Live spoofed him about the moon colony. The Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. The Wall Street Journal's weekend edition. Get this. Ford profit falls, but U.S. remains strong. Losses overseas, higher taxes take toll on Detroit's car makers' earnings. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, quiz. Please choose the following U.S. automaker that did not take funds for a bailout. A, General Motors, B, Chrysler, C, Ford. Ford!
Ding, 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 ding.
Ford Motor Company on Friday reported solid results for its first quarter, although net income fell by nearly half compared with a year ago as a higher tax rate and losses in Europe and Asia weighed in on results. How do you like that, folks? You wonder how taxes affect business? Yeah. Even one of the largest, Ford Motor Company, got walloped with a bigger tax burden. The rest is history, as I like to say. Taxes and regulation. You know, I saw something that was a pretty good argument about student loans if they got paid back. If a student loan got paid back with interest, okay, if it really did get paid back with interest, student loans aren't a bad thing in a way from the standpoint of the government, although I'm kind of against them. I think people should find a way to make it through college somehow. But anyway, they made a point that if you actually get a college degree, chances are you're going to make more money and you will pay in your working lifetime a lot more federal tax to the government.
I guess that's the plan. That's what they think.
Education. Is, you know, I think about the simple solutions to America's problems. One, energy independence. Creates jobs, reduces gas prices, reduces foreign dependence. Simple. Jobs, however you can find them. Education. You know, a smarter populace. They choose better political leaders. They make more money. They make us more competitive in the world stage. I mean, there's just basic, simple principles.
And when you make more money, you buy more stuff.
Exactly.
So then people have to make more stuff. And they have to hire more people to make the stuff and sell the stuff.
Speaking of the Wall Street Journal, Barack Obama got hammered in editorial pages on Friday. They mentioned that the president, Kimberly Strassel, that the president has a list. And basically, like all those people that didn't give him money, he's basically unleashing the SEC against them, his Justice Department against them, the IRS. It's a pretty interesting article. A little Chicago-style politics.
We need to talk to these people who are not friends of ours.
I want to tell you something, folks. Just when you're unfairly prosecuted, I'm telling you, it can drive you insane. Can you imagine how some of these people, Wall Streeters or businessmen who supported Obama last time and now they're not, find themselves under scrutiny by one of the branches of Obama's government while he's out just campaigning away? I mean, I bet you there's a lot of cursing going on behind closed doors. And then Peggy Noonan, in her column in the Weekend Wall Street Journal, titled, "A Bush League President." Oh, baby.
Ooh.
Called him Bush League. You know? And he is Bush League. You look at his resume before he became president.
You know what I think about the president, honestly?
I want an honest, not a dishonest opinion.
No, it's honesty day. I'm going to be absolutely 100% completely honest.
Yes.
Almost. I believe that the president, when he was campaigning the first time around, hope and change. A friend of mine who went to the University of Wisconsin said this man was huge there. Everybody on that campus had read his book. A lot of students were from Illinois, a neighboring state. Everybody, they knew about this guy, like the community organizer thing. Now, does that make him qualified to be a president? I don't know, whatever. But I think his whole attitude was, we're going to go and take on the big guy. We're going to knock down the big guy. And I think that he came across just too confrontational with the oil spill in the Gulf. What did he say? He's going to prosecute them. He's mad at them. Wall Street, we're going to go after these people. And I think that he's thinking that the young voters, the little guy, is going to say, yeah, we're behind you with that. And I think that's his whole PR. I think
if you look at where he goes in campaigns, when he goes to these states, he finds a university. You know, what university in America is not going to open up its campus to a presidential visit?
Right.
The historical nature of it.
Yeah.
And he has these big room full of college students. So it looks like he's got and that's what you see on NBC, CBS, ABC, the network news. You got Barack Obama speaking in front of a crowd of crazy young people.
At Ohio. And what most young people are what? Democrat.
Yep.
More liberal than
more liberal than conservative, except that their parents lost their jobs.
Now to pull them out of school.
Republican presidential candidate Newt Gingrich will finally end his presidential bid Wednesday in Washington, D.C.
Make it stop. Please make it stop.
And he's expected to support GOP nominee Mitt Romney.
You think?
Scooby-Doo Ron Paul will be left in the race. Scooby-Doo, where are you?
Zoinks!
You know, it is true, man. They pull back that hood. There was always somebody that kind of looked like Ron Paul.
Old man,
and I like Ron Paul.
It's Ron Paul, the politician.
It's Ron Paul. You know somebody's doing a cartoon right now on Scooby-Doo.
And I would have been elected if it hadn't been for those meddling kids.
Those meddling kids in that van. Newt Gingrich, though, man, he got hammered. What did Kimmel? Kimmel nailed him big time. Oh, just nailed him. Maybe it was about his weight. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Sad to report, TC, we had some military deaths over the weekend. Specialist Moises Gonzalez, 29, of Huntington, California. Staff Sergeant Brandon Eggleston, 29, of Candler, North Carolina. Sergeant Dick Lee Jr., 31, of Orange Park, Florida. Lieutenant Christopher E. Moscow, 28, Pittsford, New York. And Specialist Jason K. Edens, 22, Franklin, Tennessee. All died in, you guessed it, Afghanistan. Military deaths in Afghanistan, 90 year to date, 1,954 since 2001. You know, it is incredible. We've been there 12 freaking years. 12 years. We won World War II and 4. I wonder if there's ever going to be another country in the future that's going to go like this. Well, the Soviet Union couldn't conquer Afghanistan, and the United States couldn't, but by golly, we can.
Right. Canada. We'll give it a shot. Well, you know, the difference is in World War II, we went to fight that country. We're not fighting this country.
Yeah, you're right. Well, look, I always use the American Revolution as an example. You know, they couldn't defeat us because we never gave them our army to defeat. Washington just kept retreating, and we kept, having our little skirmishes like the Swamp Fox down in South Carolina. In other words, it's hard to defeat an army that doesn't let you defeat it.
Yeah, right.
I mean, we used the same people forget that. We used the same tactics in the Revolutionary War.
Huh.
Washington just kept the army intact. So it was never over. Did you hear about Hulk Hogan's ex-wife?
No, what happened?
She now says she lied about Hulk leading alternative lifestyle. Thanks a lot. Isn't that incredible?
Lawsuit.
Sorry, I lied about it. National Honesty Day, she came forward, I guess.
Well, it's about time.
I mean, good golly.
This is ex-wife?
You know what? I don't know who I was talking about this. I think I was talking to Sarah Jones about it. You know what? I don't get how certain people can be so mean.
I know.
I mean, how do you wake up like, let's say you're a prosecutor that prosecutes somebody you know is innocent. You know what I'm saying? How do you live with yourself? Like these prosecutors that, okay, here's incredible. Somebody's in jail for 20 years. They get DNA that says the guy didn't do it.
Right.
And the prosecutor will still fight the release of the guy.
Why?
I mean, my God, if I was a prosecutor, I said, man, if DNA evidence now shows he didn't do it, let's let him go.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you do that when you know he's innocent?
I can't understand that. That doesn't make any sense at all.
I mean, how do you like destroy somebody's life, like tell some scandalous lie you know that's not true that just hurts somebody?
Well, years ago, I remember, was it Jerry Hall was dating Mick Jagger? She said that she walked in the room, caught Mick Jagger in bed with David Bowie. Mick Jagger's attorneys called her and she said, I was mistaken. They're going to sue her.
But that's always in your head now.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160.
Make sure you listen up for the Huckabee Report. That'll be coming up at 8:30, just over 10 minutes from now on Real Talk 1160. And now, back to the Bulldog.
Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Funny story about bin Laden. You know, he always said that, how dare we live like the West. Well, apparently he liked Viagra and Just for Men hair dye. Good old bin Laden. Had it smuggled in, I'm sure.
High maintenance ruler.
I need some Viagra. And then some of the Just for Men.
Hate those high maintenance terrorists.
Little narcissism there from even a terrorist.
Yeah.
Mel Gibson went on Jay Leno and basically made fun of his temper. That was a smart move on his part. And how about Barack Obama? He teased Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, who was photographed dancing and drinking. You know, I guess she might have partied with the Secret Service agents. You know, how come she's not in trouble, TC? She's down in Colombia, and according to Barack Obama, she wouldn't stop drunk texting him.
What? Oh, man.
He actually made a joke about it.
That's funny.
It is funny, but it's like, ooh.
Can you imagine what that's
Hillary
like?
Hillary and Barack, maybe?
Think about everybody here in the office.
Let's start a rumor. President Hillary.
You want to?
Go ahead, what?
I mean, we all text about whatever. Can you imagine what it's like when you just text the president or you text the Secretary of State and this, that, and the other? Well, see, that's her alibi. If she was texting the president, she couldn't have been fooling around.
You know George Clooney has the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, he does.
George Clooney, you know what George Clooney's doing? He's smelling opportunity. He knows Barack is in trouble.
Yeah.
So if he puts his star power behind Barack Obama, even if Barack Obama loses, he's going to gain between now and Barack going out of office. Barack Obama can do a lot of things for his causes over in Africa, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
That's a good point. Good point.
So, you know, he's playing that card.
What was the deal with Clooney getting arrested a few weeks ago? Did you hear about that?
Yeah, that was a protest at the Washington about the, what was it? I forget what the protest was about. It was one of his causes from overseas.
You know, he's a great actor, but is he a little too causey?
He's a little too causey. I agree with you.
I mean, great actor. Love him as an actor.
We should announce this. Beginning May 5th, the Cavalcade of Homes from Northern Kentucky and Greater Cincinnati are partnering this year. And the Cavalcade of Homes will be May 5th through 6th, 12th through 13th, and 19th through 20th. The Cavalcade of Homes is coming to you. How do you like that?
Well, you know, honestly, you go to those things, you take your spouse, and then pretty soon you've got a honey-do list because she wants it to look just like that one house we saw last Saturday. You're working all summer. I don't trust them.
I agree. We forgot a couple, at least I forgot a couple things in sports I want to add. Derrick Rose from the Chicago Bulls, God love him, tore his ACL. He's out for the rest of the playoffs.
That stinks.
Poor guy. Best player in the league, many say. They won, but they won't go far now. And how about this? Albert Pujols, 10-year, $240 million contract.
Nice.
He has 4 RBIs in his first 19 games.
Who's laughing all the way to the bank?
4 RBIs.
Something's just not right.
In 19 games.
Something's just not right.
That's not even an RBI every 4 games.
No. That is less than that. Well, you know what?
That's not good.
That's not his fault. That means somebody else didn't get on base.
That's what he's saying. He said, man, it wasn't my fault, man. Nobody's on base in front of me.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't me. I love that line. It wasn't me. The Kentucky Derby, you know, that's another sporting. The Kentucky Derby's coming up.
I hear Mitt Romney's going to win that, too.
No, the course that's going to win the Kentucky Derby is Hanson. Hanson.
Not the Hanson brothers, just
Not
Hanson.
Oh, my God, I never thought about that. No, Dr. Hanson's horse, which is named Hanson, is going to win. He got in trouble with the Bluegrass Stakes painting the horse's tail blue. They don't have a sense of humor, TC.
You know,
those horse stewards just don't have a sense of humor.
There's a connection here. We got Hanson. We got old-time hockey mom jokes, right? I mean, I'm feeling
serendipity.
A hunch. Maybe we should be playing a hunch this weekend.
Serendipity, baby. It always happens.
You know, they've got a drink at the Kentucky Derby, a mint julep. That is $500.
No.
I kid you not.
A $500 drink?
Yeah. They don't put ice in it. They put diamonds in it. Really?
No, you're lying.
I kid you not. $500.
Lions in it?
Diamonds. Diamonds.
Jeez, oh Pete.
Isn't that incredible?
That's a hell of a drink.
Yeah, it is. Don't choke. I can't spend $500 on anything without a warranty.
I don't even like mint juleps. My dad used to have a derby party every year, and I couldn't stand drink. I like my dad's home cooked roast beef that he used to serve.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It was moist and tasty.
Yeah.
Mint juleps, you can have mint juleps. Not a mint julep guy. I'm not even a drinker.
Yeah.
Drinking is a depressant. People don't realize that. Yeah. You feel happy for a moment, and then you come crashing down.
Everybody at the frat house was always happy when they drank until they fell asleep.
TC, did you see the front page of the Enquirer today?
Yes, the front page.
The Erpenbeck scandal echoes a decade later.
Has it been that long, really?
Man, oh man, oh man. It's pretty incredible when you think about it.
How cheap was a Big Mac 10 years ago?
It was pretty cheap. Apparently some of these buyers still having some of the issues. I thought everybody kind of got paid off. I understand. I thought everybody, their mortgages got released. The banks are the one that took the hits.
Probably like the people that got taken with Madoff, a lot of them are just screwed.
It's, by the way, this is interesting. God, the guy that buried, Michael Skidmore, he's the guy that buried the money for like $250,000 for Erpenbeck.
Yeah.
And then Erpenbeck's brother wore a wire and, tattletale.
Saw that on Law.
He's scheduled to be released from the federal prison camp in Pensacola on July 24th. He's already served his time for that. I think he got like a year and a half or something like that.
Oh. Well,
a lot of people got hurt over that.
Exactly.
That was in the news every single day.
Yeah.
Bill Erpenbeck. I wonder how he's doing. His wife never did file for divorce. Yeah.
She knows where the money is.
Yeah. That's interesting, isn't it? She never did file for divorce. Loyal. Yeah, right. I just don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. There's got to be something else going on there. I could see asking your spouse to say, hey, I'm going away for a year or two, and they sticking with you. I'm going to be out in 28 years. I'll see you in 28 years. That's a heck of a long time. TC, that's a great question for our callers. 513-579-1160. 513-579-1160. How long would you wait for your spouse if they were sent to prison, and what were the conditions?
It depends on if my spouse's name was Robin.
How long? Oh, for Robin Meade, how long would you wait?
Forever.
Which
is kind of what I'm doing now.
But that's an interesting rhetorical question. I ought to put that up on my Facebook page.
That is.
How long, if Chuck's listening, Chuck, have our people do that. How long would you wait for your spouse to be in prison?
Yeah.
I'd wait a few years.
Just a few?
5.
Depends what they did.
10. God, 10 would be tough.
It would have to depend on what they did.
And by the way, I wouldn't expect my spouse to wait any longer than that, too. That's a hell of a long thing. Although, at our age group, it's a little different. Seriously. I'm almost 50 years old. It probably wouldn't matter. Yeah, you get out, I'll be. What's.
Right.
It makes a difference when you're 25 years old and you're getting sentenced to life.
And now it depends
or
what
not
they've
life,
done.
but 20 years.
You say, white-collar crime? Okay. All right, I'll wait for a while, but, something more severe where,
So, in other words, what they did would make a difference, too.
It would.
You did what, honey?
Are you serious?
You did what, honey?
With my best friend? Oh, you. No, that's it. She's gone. Forget it. Never.
This was just a dream. Nobody's really going to jail. On Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog. On Real Talk 1160. Bill Boyle, my good buddy, the superintendent of Walton, Verona, honored today in the Enquirer.
Oh, yeah?
He's the superintendent of that school district. That school district is unbelievable. They outperform bigger schools in their district in sports. They have like 0 dropouts. It's an incredible little school district that Bill Boyle and those that came before him and those who have worked with him has just carved out a neat. He's retiring in October. He's hanging up the superintendent's shoes.
He's dropping out?
That'd be a very important job, being a superintendent. I spoke to him. Do you know he and his wife, who's a librarian in the school district, they do not have Facebook pages or anything like that
really?
because they know the risk of anything. Like, for example, he could be at a party and they snap a picture that goes somebody I mean, it's incredible.
Exactly. Just
and
like
you know what? That is
a
smart move.
Yeah.
That is a smart move.
That is why I avoid that. I have a question for you, and you will probably be the one to answer this. If you're driving down 7175 past the Walton, Verona area.
Yes.
If you're going one direction, the exit sign says Walton, Verona. If you're coming the other direction, the exit sign says Verona, Walton. Why is that?
I have no clue. That's an interesting question, but I have no clue.
Somebody.
You know, Walton, Verona is a very confusing destination because Walton is off Interstate 75 and Verona is off Interstate 71. And there's so many reference to it as Walton, Verona.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the Walton Verona School, but it's not one. Somebody coming from out of town, they're going to like, what the heck's this?
Right, exactly.
Very confusing.
It's like telling somebody from out of town, get on the Norwood Lateral.
Now get this. This is interesting. The school is in Walton. The athletic field for the football team is in Verona.
Is it really? That's bizarre.
Yeah, and by the way, that is not a short drive. That drive is like 10 minutes.
The players jog down to the field?
Yeah. Come on, we're going to go down to the field and play a football game. But it's a very nice field. They just started football. Oh. You know who you ought to have football. I mean, you know, Xavier once had football.
Yeah.
You know, that they're the famous team that Marshall beat. Was the first team they beat when they came back, or was it the last team that they lost to? Xavier played in Marshall's airplane crash. Xavier's part of that story. They're either the first team that they played when they came back or the last team they played before the crash. I forget. But NKU, you know, Northern Kentucky University, they ought to have football.
Yeah.
When you think about how good the high school football teams are around here, there's nothing like football in the look what UC Bearcat football in the last few years. How much more that adds to that program and that school and the enthusiasm.
Oh yeah, and you know you're on the map. In a positive way, people want to come to that school now.
People who do not think that sports matter, I give you what high school football does for a spirit of a school.
Builds character.
Builds character, too. There's a great editorial in today's Wall Street Journal, How Big Banks Threaten Our Economy. This, of course, has been one of my topics, which I have used and railed for years and years and years. How forever and ever and ever, one of the backbones to, and everybody knows this, one of the first generators of jobs when you come out of a recession is small businesses and entrepreneurs. And there's no more important part of our financial institution than community banks scattered throughout the country, lending money to each community and those small businesses in those communities to help them fund growth, help them fund expansion, equipment purchases, so forth and so on. And what's happened in our national banking system is that you have more and more merging taking place. Like my dad, his community bank, he just sold it to a bigger bank. And part of the reason why he sold it is he's like, you know, it's just tough. You know, you have to, let's say you're a small bank, you have to deal with the same federal regulations that the big banks have to deal with. But how do you train your employees, Dodd-Frank and so forth and so on? The way you lend money has been affected by the banking policies of Barack Obama. And it is not a good thing at all, folks, that we have the banking power consolidated within the top 10 banks. That's not good at all for this country. The more banks we have, I'll be candid with you, I think the more banks, the better. I guess you don't have a saturation point, but competition takes care of itself. But just like I advocate a nuclear power plant in every major city in this country, you know, every community ought to have a small bank, shouldn't they? I mean, it's like this, like Jim Johnson comes in to his community bank in small town America. And that banker knows Jim Johnson, goes to church with Jim Johnson, knows Jim Johnson's a good guy, knows he works hard. You know, he knows, as opposed to some distant guy from the state capital of that state in that bank lending money purely and solely upon what's presented to them in a banking report or a credit report. I mean, it's just the backbone of the economy. Now, this is interesting. Today we see the opposite. 5 institutions, get this, folks, 5 institutions control 50% of the deposits in the country. They're too big to fail, aren't they? And this Warren Stevens, who's the head of Stevens Inc. in Little Rock, Arkansas, advocates gradually reduce the bank deposit cap to 5% from 10%. Banks are prohibited from holding more than 10% of all the deposits in the United States. Demand the breakup of banks that already exceed the 5% cap. Force banks to choose between commercial banking and investment banking. One of the problems that, the banking policy created is the idea that they let banks do everything besides just be a bank. They got in the insurance business. They got in the hedge fund business. They have investment. See, you don't realize, folks, that J.P. Morgan, Chase, and these were investment banks. Goldman Sachs, they were investment banks. That's what they did. And you know what Paulson did? Hank Paulson did as part of his bailout of the country and the TARP fund, so forth and so on. He forced them to merge with traditional banks, making them bigger. That was Timothy Geithner's idea, actually. So let's make the big banks bigger. But we have to get back to the basics of small community banks, medium-sized banks, and you need big banks too. You got to have a big bank to lend to folks like Procter & Gamble. But you got in these credit lines. I mean, I know a small business credit line of $100 million. Your local community bank can't do that. You need the big regional banks. But it is a mistake to put all of our eggs in one basket. Think about that. 5 banks control 50% of the banking deposits?
When you said that, I was like, really? Now, that, if you think about it, that's what set off, the occupiers. That's why they're upset. And right now, the Tea Party or the Republicans, some leader in the Republican Party should use that as a bridge to bridge the gap between the occupiers and the Tea Party. That will solidify the election.
There's always been new banks started and capitalized. And I remember earlier this year or last year, I remember reading that I think in 2010, there was only one new national bank began. And I think it was in Louisiana. And it was a little mobile home type of bank this guy started. It was the only new bank created in the country. Now, I want you to know that my dad in the last 20, 30 years have been involved in starting some banks. He started the Independent Bank of Ocala. He bought the Farmers National Bank. But he's been involved in small community banking. And boy, it plays a very important role, and it's non-existent anymore. And that's not a good thing for our country. God, the solutions are so easy, aren't they, folks? So easy. It starts with the top, though, with the policies. Our president, he's too busy campaigning. God, when you think about what the time it takes to attend 3 fundraisers. I've advocated it's at least 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back, 1 hour there at least. So the way I calculate, the president's spending 6 hours a day at least fundraising. Folks, he's not putting in 16-hour days. He's having dinner at the White House with Michelle and the kids, and he's going to bed early and getting 8 hours sleep. One of the books that I bought, and I'm anxious to discuss it when we come back, is TR, a book about Teddy Roosevelt and his attitude about capitalism. And he was considered a progressive, but he also saw the importance of capitalism, and he also saw the danger of too big to fail. The great trust buster he became. The Bulldog on Real Talk 1160.
This portion of Bulldog Nation brought to you by great tasting, slimy living Green Water. Green Water now available in paperback. And now back to the Bulldog.
Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. There's a book out by Richard Benson, Effing Exams, the very best totally wrong test answers. Can't recommend it enough. It is beyond funny. I mean, these are actual test answers that they gathered up from tests. I mean, it's just hilarious. I mean, you couldn't make this stuff up. Describe the term stakeholder. This is a business exam. Stakeholder. A vampire hunter, Buffy being the most famous. I mean, you could just tell
These had to be made up.
Some dude that just didn't freaking study and just said, hey,
what the heck?
I'm just going to answer this, stupid, What is a partnership? A ship that takes two people to drive. Oh, my God.
Why I oughta.
What is hacking? A really bad cough. I mean, God, this stuff.
Good night, folks.
This stuff is crazy. TC?
Yes.
I think about this country. And I think about, leadership. And whether it's in a small business, it's an athletic sports team in high school or college or a pro team, or whether it's a big business or whether it's politics, when you define what leadership is all about, leadership is about going that extra mile than everybody else. Leadership is about hard work, working harder than everybody else. Leadership is about getting others to follow you on a path. Leadership is about having that vision and then making that vision a reality. It's about being a quote-unquote cheerleader for the team. I mean, leadership can be defined in so many different ways, and really all of them is the right answer. And Alan Axelrod, what he's been doing, he's been writing these books. By the way, this isn't David Axelrod of the Obama campaign. He takes these great historical figures and he writes these books about leadership, and he uses them like Leadership CEO. And I bought and recently, and I began reading yesterday. I don't get too much time to joy read, but I did joy read about TR, and he starts out with the synopsis of TR's life and then TR's leadership. And by the way, what we do in the Boondock Saints about being a doer was number one with Teddy. You do. You don't sit on the sidelines, you do. And, he's done Churchill, he's done Lincoln, he's done TR. And I actually wrote down these 5 names of people that I am going to really, I know a lot about them, but I've decided I'm going to really study even more the leadership characteristics of 5 historical figures. Winston Churchill, Washington, Lincoln, TR, and I'm sorry, TC, Reagan. Now, you say, why have I've chosen these? Well, and I'm not choosing the ancients because I want them to have some type of connection to Western civilization, which is more realistic to our society. But Churchill, as a leader in wartime, during World War II, when England stood alone for a year against Nazi Germany, is incredible. Washington's leadership in keeping our army alive and then the creation of our country is an incredible story. Lincoln saving our Union, an incredible story. TR is the most fascinating. He loved being president more than any other. And the turn of the century, the beginning of the industrial age, I think he's very much worthy of emulation. And then Reagan, because he's pretty current. He's close to the current times. And I have decided that I'm going to focus my historical studies on these 5 figures over the course of the next year or two. I purchased Ron Chernow's biography of Washington, which I've also read, but I want to listen to it. See, I don't have a photographic mind. I have to pound it in there to remember it. But this TR, when you look at his life and his history of leadership, he cleaned up the corrupt police organization of the New York Police Department. And you know how he did it? He did it not sitting behind the desk. He would go out at night. He would go out and observe and see what was going on. He would shock police officers who weren't at their post by saying, "Oh my God, it's the police commissioner." And that's how you lead. You know, you get out there and you do. And then Secretary of Navy, he was the Assistant Secretary of the Navy. He actually resigned the position to become a Rough Rider and charge up San Juan Hill. And by the way, TR was an egomaniac. But it didn't change the fact that he was this great leader. Hey, and you talk about political intrigue, something that I knew, but it refreshed my mind yesterday when I read it. When he decided to run for the presidency against Taft and Wilson, he first ran, before the Bull Moose Party was formed, he actually ran against Taft in the Republican primary. And get this, folks, he won every caucus and every primary against the sitting president, Taft. And the convention, the party bosses still chose Taft. How do you like that? Can you imagine if one of the like Mitt Romney, who's winning they got to and they said, well, we're not gonna pick you, Mitt. Can you imagine the chaos? But how do you like that? TR, before he ran as a Bull Moose candidate, actually won every primary and caucus in the GOP except one.
Wow.
And the party, quote unquote, still picked Taft, which was a mistake because Taft and then Roosevelt split the Republican vote and elected Wilson. And by the way, the sitting president finished third. How embarrassing. But the vigor, the strength, the work ethic, the brains, because this guy was smart. And by the way, this is so funny. Teddy Roosevelt negotiated the end of the Russo-Japanese War and won the Nobel Peace Prize. I think it's hilarious that Barack Obama, after being in office for a few months, won the Nobel Peace Prize. Nobody knows what for, but he won the Nobel Peace Prize. So when I compare these two individuals, TR and Obama, and I like to use TR because he gets attacked by Glenn Beck, for being a progressive. Well, there was a lot of things that he brought in to being which were necessary, like the Food and Drug Administration. Hello, folks. We need an FDA. Can you imagine? Excuse me, got called. Without the FDA, not good. We need the FDA. But TR worked hard. He worked hard. He was a leader. Compared to Barack Obama. I mean, I'm being honest. Who looks at Barack Obama and says to themselves, man, this guy's a great leader? How does he lead? Does he lead by working hard? No. Does he lead by, having this great vision of America that we all share? No. Do you lead by dividing America in social, economic classes? Is that leadership? No. Isn't he the president of everybody in the United States? So I am going to share with you my study of these historical figures and kind of explain to you and show to you how lacking they are in today's political environment. And it's not just Barack Obama, George Bush, failure in leadership. Barack Obama is just the worst. Apologize for my cough. When we come back tomorrow, we'll have more Radio Superbity. Every dog has their day. I hope tomorrow and today is yours.